Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Juro. It is December 8th, 2016. How are you doing? It is a gray and overcast day here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And we are in the midst of winter. Just to give you a little backdrop of my day, like yourself, start out early. And I initially didn't have any intentions on putting a video out because I put out a great amount these last couple weeks. But I'm feeling this underlining tension. And I have a feeling that someone may be looking for validation. Maybe something that's going on in their day to day. And I hope that this video will give you a little bit of clarity, a little bit of understanding and justification why you are seeing what you're seeing now. Now, I don't have to tell you that the environment socially has an effect that reach the world, the intended heart, the intended mind. I ain't got to tell you that. All you have to do is look outside your door. But I must admit, y'all, it is looking a little bleak. And it's that way for a reason. Because, see, underlining there are spiritual events going on that you may not be oblivious of, but will have a effect. But what's required is your positioning. What's required is your focus. What's required is you have to acknowledge it. So I know for some of y'all, you may be feeling like you're a fish out of water because there's always something going on in your environment, and all you want to do is have peace. You want clarity, and you're trying to make sense of the motivation for it all. No, you're not crazy. Let me let you know that right now. But there is a campaign to sway your perception. See, I ain't got to tell you how unique you are because your validation was the moment that you opened your eyes. That right there should have told you you've got work to do. But the real question should be, are you going to do it? Because I know that some of y'all, not all, have been hoping that this moment that you're in would never come. Because it's easier that way. But you're starting to feel that tension. You're starting to not be able to overlook the things that you were in denial of. There's a reason for that, y'all. Short and sweet, you got to make a decision. For some, you've been standing at the doorway of your life for quite some time, and you have gotten comfortable. Now, the environment is shifting. Now, that environment is unsettling. Now, right now, there is a uneasiness due to the person that you are. Yeah, that little boy, that little girl that lives in you. You don't actually think. Surely you do not think that the little boy and the little girl that lives inside you has died. Well, that's what they want you to think. But because you are the exception to the rule, because you're a spiritual being first, physical second, and God loved you to give you the ability to walk on this earthly realm. Who am I talking to? Some of y'all are feeling like you want to exhale, but you can't get the air out. It's because you got to make a choice. But you can't do that until you acknowledge its existence. So you're out there working your 9 to 5, or you're a shift worker. Shout out to my shift workers out there. Or maybe stay at home. But what you really long for is peace of mind. And it seems like proverbially you're trying to grab the brass ring, but it's always a step ahead. You know why? It's because you're allowing your distractions to keep you at bay. This can also be manifested through associations too, because we are what we attract. So if we are what we attract, what is within us? How about what was dormant is demanding you to make a choice? Should I stay or should I go is what you're thinking. But is it worth those tears you've been holding on to? Having anguish of the fact that you were having conversations in your mind, but it doesn't match your feet. No, you're not crazy. You have to make a decision because you've been standing at the crossroad far too long. See, what's being asked of you right now is this: how bad do you want it? And if it's that bad, does it match the love that you should have for yourself? Who am I talking to? Are you tired of constantly getting the short end of the stick? When you decide to ground your feet, watch what is shown. We can also say this, because let me hold that thought. Let me go back, because I know somebody, you wrestling with this. The ideologies and the beliefs that you have been brought up to know, you realize that there were some falsities in that. And it's causing you to believe. Why? You're here to do a job. You're here to go down a certain road. And you're here to fulfill the promise given by him. So, no, you're not crazy. You never was. What was crazy is the distractions and the campaigning going on to keep you from seeing what was there the whole time. But yet, the pain keeps growing, doesn't it? The denial doesn't last that long. And I'm not laughing at you per se. I'm laughing at the devil because his work is never done. He had best intentions for you. Why are you feeling the way you are. Some of it comes by way of your heredity. You know, the blood and bone that is inside you. You're here to do a job. But that job cannot be fulfilled unless you understand your purpose. And you cannot understand your purpose until you're able to see the direction, the makings of you, unlike any other. That is why when you hear people echo, when God created you, he broke that mold. Why? Because you're one of a kind, original. There'll never be another. Nor will anyone be able to see what you see. Sure, we have a commonality of viewpoints. If we're all in the room, we have an understanding, but if it's not supporting, empowering, inspiring the best you, what we got to talk about. But then again, we live in a world where we want to play with the occult. We want to give validity where there's nothing but deception. And we wonder why insecurity is rampant. We wonder why our children every day come up missing. We wonder why our communities have no unity. We wonder why someone has stolen the love. Let me tell you something. When's the last time you did a survey? You heard me right. You got countless surveys for the things you don't need, but when you did one for yourself. When's the last time that you went and just took note of who has access to your life? When's the last time you took that survey and you asked yourself, what do I need to do? How about, why am I here? Why is this happening? Because last time I checked, your name was not victim, even though they want you to think that. They don't want you to see how beautiful you are. And they don't want you to use this. That is a secret right there. You speak it into existence and it shall be made form. But guess what? There's a process. And to have the process, you must first have the commitment. How are you going to have a commitment when you don't have one with you? Meanwhile, you are contemplating why they don't stick around. Should I stay or should I go? What should I do? I don't know. How about be still and love you? Who am I talking to? Do you actually think it's based off of your curvature and how you can make it gyrate that will keep him still? No. Maybe for the little boys, that is. Because little boys like things that we're visual creatures until the wisdom comes. And the wisdom can't come without the blessing. Who am I talking to? Why are you doing time in your mind? Why are you associating with the people that are set up to be in your life to set you back? I'll tell you why. Or better yet, Jack Nicholson said it best in A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. And the truth is, you're blessed. The truth is, you can be anything you want to be. But to unlock that key, that spiritual key, you gotta love you. So tell me again why you're popping bottles. You don't see the VIP you are in the mirror. Hmm? Meanwhile, they are calling you out of your name and you say, huh, and come running. But you're surprised the love is not there. Anybody waste your time if you're willing to give it for free. But they forgot to tell you something. You're priceless. So if you don't see your value and you don't see your worth, how can you measure your time? Well, if you can't measure your time, does it make sense to be able to measure the tears that fall, the impulse thinking, and of course, the decisions that come with it? It doesn't matter how good your stroke is if your feet ain't grounded. That's why God said it best. Never build your house on the sand. But I ain't got to tell you that. Just look at the world, because even when the fool acknowledges that God is real, the earth shakes, and she been ringing like a bell. What, going on 30 something years? That's why history repeats itself. I ain't got to tell you, right in front of your face. And you know why it repeats itself? Because divinely, you got to make a choice. Divinely, what is being conveyed to you is this: how much do you got to go through before you decide to grow? See, when you choose to be stagnant, you won't find love. You won't find creativity. You won't be able to see uniqueness. Why? These are all distractors. And these are all that are not needed in the makings of you. Yeah, I know there are going to be some haters out there. But guess what? Even Cat Williams said in his comedy, when a hater hates on you, you must be doing something right. Because nobody's going to willfully give their time. Let's be honest. Because time is money. And it's priceless. Your life is like an unpolished diamond. But before that diamond can shine, it first is in raw state. Therefore, there is going to be some pressure. There's going to be some changing. And the broken, rough edges shall fall. Kind of, if you think about it, just think back to that last struggle you went through. Think back on that last relationship and how you tried to hold on and it hurt. It was no shade to your loyalty, but to your pain. But pain has no loyalty, but it knows how to sustain. Who am I talking to? Right now, you're thinking you're being punished, but really you're being protected. Maybe that's the reason why your bed is cold. So why are you allowing them? Yeah, you know, the people in the cheap seats, the people that did not deserve to hear you breathe, the people that shouldn't have even had the right to know your name. Why are you giving them the standing ovations when they will never support your dreams? Now is the time that you make a decision, because you're standing in the crossroads and you can't stand there no longer. You're going to have to claim. But what is a life unclaimed? I'll tell you what it is. It's sadness. It's regret. It's resentment and non-clarity. It's like looking at a beautiful sparrow that wings are strong but will not fly. Why? Because it gave up on itself before it stood up. So why are you amongst the chickens when you were the eagle? See, while they're on the ground, you should be preparing for your flight. Maybe where you are right now, the pressure is going to bust the pipe. Maybe it is getting uncomfortable right now, and maybe, just maybe, you'll finally give yourself permission to love yourself. Why are you basing who you are on their public opinion? What do they bring to the table? You think happiness is because you're pushing the whip or living in that Barbie dream house? No, you're not. You're just doing time in your mind. Because the truth, the price to be paid will be your sanity. And what is a house with no love in it? It's a waste. And that's not why you're here. You're here to do a job. How about this? Maybe you are the one that is going to pull the weeds, move the debris from your family tree. Maybe you were born to be the matriarch or the patriarch of your family name. You know your last name does have honor. Sure, you do know that, right? But more importantly, think about those who have come before you that had less than, so you could have. See, what's so sad, y'all, it is the year 2016 we're getting ready to bring to the close. And I will throw this out there. I will do a video on my 2017 perspective shortly. We are in the most advanced state of being publicly, because you know they're working on stuff that they're not going to talk about because cash is king. But until you decide to give yourself the concession to work on you, you ain't got to worry about that. Because the daily psyop or the social climate is doing the job to keep you at bay, to keep you divided. And here's the thing. Well, let me throw this out here while I'm at it. 2016, right? We should be as one, but individually have our own perspective. You're not supposed to fit in anybody's box. You're not supposed to fit in someone's circle. But the kicker about it is you don't have to worry about neither one until you decide to know who you are. And as the years progress, so will our moral compass. Oh, yes. If you don't realize, they have deliberately played with the social climate to switch things, to pervert things, so they can control things. Surely you don't see that. Or maybe some of you do and just don't want to speak on it. Oh, yes. We are treating our young boys to be little girls. And we're teaching our little girls to come at the lowest price. You think no one's benefiting from that? Meanwhile, we push our biases and our phobias to keep us collectively divided. So we can go conspiracy theory all day, but think about it this way. If I've got you thinking this and you're standing behind that principle, and I've got that person doing the same thing, but my whole agenda is to control both, Don't you think systematically I'm going to keep you divided? But meanwhile, I'm making money off your fears. Who am I talking to? Meanwhile, a new puppet comes out, new and approved, but less intellectual, more impressionable, because there'll be another little boy and little girl that will have no guidance to say, I want to be just like you. And it's sad. Meanwhile, they average 35 children, 3,500 children a day come up missing. How can we have a community without unity? How can we not protect what is valuable if we won't protect ourselves? But they got you dancing to the beat now, don't they? Meanwhile, the frustration of the hustle and bustle of the retail machine continues to crank out with no ownership or loyalty to anybody, because the end game is the one who gets paid. Have you forgotten what the holiday stands for? It's definitely not for the new Jays. It's not for the new gimmick that you'll only utilize for about 90 days and end up with the rest. The holiday is to represent the birth of Christ. But even if you didn't have a spiritual connection and you had to put a summation of what Christmas is about, one word: family. What is a holiday if you can't be with those you love? Kind of hard these days when we have narcissists and we've got predators and we've got schizophrenics and sociopaths running amok at the highest bidder or the most influential because their bills fold. Maybe that's the reason what's done in the dark comes to the light. Because at the end of the day, when you take your last breath, the question will be asked, what did you stand for? Not what did you fall for? Who am I talking to? I hope this holiday, y'all, while you are looking under the tree, you look for your peace of mind. You look for that self-worth. You look for that fortitude. While you under there. But it probably won't be there because guess what? You can't buy that. Just like you can't be bought. But some of y'all, you ain't even got to do that nowadays. Fool's Gold and Rock Candy is a video I did a couple years ago when I first saw or caught wind of the social climate shifting. Maybe that's the reason why she wants to be a boy and he don't know how to be a man. It's because truthfully, they don't know what love looks like. I hope you do. Because if you think 2016 was a mother, you really not going to like next year. And I'm not going to steal from the thunder of what I'm going to say. But I'm going to tell you this. How long do you think you're going to be able to stand in that crossroad? How long? And when you can be honest, you'll actually be able to say this. The crossroad was yourself. Meanwhile, you are over there checking for him, and he's checking for her. If they valued you, they would be able to catch the breath that come out your mouth, not what's found in his bed. Doesn't matter, y'all. They will never be able to make a pill to make that pain go away that's inside your chest. The prescription for that is loving you. And I understand, because some of y'all say, Gerald, well, if I thought this was my life, and don't do that, because that's what the devil wants you to think. He wanted you to give up on that last pain you went through, that last betrayal you went through. Some of y'all may be going through some pains that were so deep. Inside your mind, you say, I wish I never knew you. Those are all illusions. Those are all fears. And you know what's behind fear? Your breakthrough. But while you are standing still, the veil will be up. The distractions will be meaning, and the truth will be nowhere in sight. So why are you thinking that you're crazy? You ain't crazy. You are far from that. But I also know this too. Some of y'all don't want nothing under that tree but the one. Yes, the one that will unlock the key to the other side of your life. The one that will be able to carry and protect your heart. The one that will always say, it'll be okay. And the one that will show you something new. But you think life is about love and flip-flop? And you're wrong. Because that's not your reality. Because that's scripted. Your love is priceless. Your life, no one can fit those proverbial shoes. Why am I telling you something you already know? Maybe that's the reason the examples that you've seen has been the way it's been. And what have I done? I tell you, stop looking for love. Prepare for it. That is going to be the second greatest undertaking you'll ever come to know in your mortality. The number one is understanding what intimacy is. Intimacy is formed one way. That's having a connection with God. And when you make a connection with God, it is the greatest freeing experience you'll ever have. It'll come to know in that beautiful brain you got. Because once you understand that connection, you'll also have a connection with the person that was there the whole time. So, I hope that for those that are out there in the highways and byways and you're shopping, don't be misled. Just know the greatest gift you'll ever be able to give anybody is your time. Just being able to be in the placement to watch someone grow. You can't put a price on that, y'all. Can't put a price on that. Because it is a living constant. That's why when we grow, this ages. But this, that is the doorway to your forever. So it doesn't matter what he tells you. It doesn't matter how she looks. Because, not to sound callous, but the devil already knows your desires. That's why when you hear people say, speak from your heart and not from your mouth, because it's spiritual. You surely don't actually believe. How is it we going to be able in the world that we live in? We believe in ghosts, but we don't believe in demons. We have those that actually give props to the devil, but yet don't want to acknowledge the Most High. Kind of crazy, don't you think, right? How can you have a yin without no yang? But if anybody who has seen that symbol knows this, it is two opposites, two contrasts, but there's a circle around it. Why? Because the circle represents your lifeline. Who am I talking to? This is for somebody right now because I feel it on my speaker. Your breakthrough is coming, but it is being delayed because of one specific thing that you are required to do, and you got to have the courage to do it. How about speak your truth? How about destroy your pride? Because your pride and your ego are tandem. And maybe that's what's holding you back. See, no one's going to be able to walk the road less traveled, Robert Frost. No one's going to roll, because that's your journey. That's your experience and will be your legacy. That is why you have come to understand that as you progress through this road, the most sacred word that's always never seen value, friend. It's always taken for granted. How are you going to have a best friend when you are your best friend? To earn that right, that is the living example of unconditional love. But if that friend does not support you, that is your enemy. Maybe you're not supposed to fight. Maybe you were only meant to do was take note. You ready to change your life? You ready to do the work? Because to do the work, that requires you to have courage. And sometimes you're going to be by yourself. You're going to go through spiritual seasons for a reason. You know why you go through what we know as droughts? To see if you've learned a lesson. How do you think you gain your knowledge? You go through periods of reflection and review. So why are you setting your watch if you're going to get this? Don't you realize people are going to be there when they see you as the priority? So why are you running your blood pressure up? Because they don't call. Be grateful. Take note. Your connection can't be bought. It's not enough money. It doesn't matter what you think is the Lord. Don't you understand? When you use trickery, you end up being enslaved by the trickery. Why? Because you're watching history review itself to see if you learn the lesson. That's why you can't go to the next level, because you haven't learned the foundation to get you there. Think of it this way. Think of your life like you're on a stairwell. If you don't understand what's required to take the first step, how are you going to get to the top? Maybe you are supposed to be that entrepreneur. Or maybe you are the one that will be the innovator. Who am I talking to? So why are you tripping on the fact that you're looking for the Barbie with the Kung Fu grip? Why? You can't take it with you. It won't give you peace of mind. And you worried about who she with? That should tell you right there. She does not have what is needed to inherit your last name. If anything, look at the social climate. Why do you think there are so many women by themselves? It's because they are lacking the fortitude to do it on their own. How about be your own best friend? How about love yourself? How about tap into those natural spiritual gifts? You know, those hobbies that you would do, but you're more embarrassed because if someone see it, they're going to leave. Open the door. Get out your way. But instead, you stick around and he goes upside your head. For what? Being you? Oh, you changed. No. Ain't nobody changed. You didn't look a little deeper. The three strongest words you'll ever come to appreciate is I love you. Start with yourself. Because you owe that to that person in the mirror looking back, who is the same person that at one time couldn't stand over the sink to brush your teeth. Yeah, that little boy. How about that beautiful little girl? But as long as you keep messing with the cheap seats, they're going to keep supporting you with pain. They're going to keep using that. They're the ones that are saying you don't need a man. Why? Because they want you to be by yourself. They want you to do the work for them. That's why you think there's so many STDs out here. This is all the works of the devil. But you ain't got to believe me. Look at them bruises you got. What about them bumps? What about them emotional scars? And let me throw this out here too, because I'm going to bring this home. Because I know there's somebody, you done went through hell. It started when you was a kid. You went through some stuff, you saw some stuff, and it traumatized you. And nobody that should have gave a damn about you was equipped to do anything about it. That's why you see this, birds of a feather flock together. Well, you know what? If Auntie Marie was doing drugs and it was okay, why can't I? Yeah, but what did it get her? If Uncle Terrence was on that doing alcohol and that's all he knew because that's all he saw, what's wrong with that? Why can't y'all see through it? Don't you understand? The longer you stay impaired, that messes up your money. It also sets up a platform to be manipulated too. So that goes back to what I said earlier. What will it take? Why does it always take for you to go through something before you open up your eyes to see, hey, this ain't good enough? You realize in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, there's some cemeteries of people that should not be there, but because of the fact that they didn't have the guidance needed, it impacted their mortality. I ain't even got to tell you about the penal system. There's some brilliant people behind bars, but if someone had said, hey, what are you doing? Or jacked them up in the beginning, maybe they wouldn't have graduated there. Because that's life, Rob. Because let's not ignore the fact that when a person is incarcerated, so does the family. But we live in a society where people go to prison for free. It's called your mind. Why are you fighting for something that will never be there in the end? Why are you don't get a badge for, well, if I decide to leave, that makes me weak. No, that makes you smart. Maybe that's the reason why you're seeing, because let me tell you something. If it was meant for you to have, no matter what it is, wouldn't it be there? So why are you tripping when things fall apart? Don't you realize that's another opportunity for you to assess, review where your feet are? But you can't do that when you're looking in the ceiling. You can't do that when you're impaired. You can't do that when somebody's going upside your head. I'm just saying. So I hope that your bias, your pride, and your ego has brought you to where you are compared to everything that you have given. Was it worth the anguish you have now? Is it worth, how about them bruises? How about holding or ransoming your hopes and dreams? You doing that for what? For him? You doing that for her because of the way she sashays? She's not going to be your wife. And I'll do one better, and I'm going to shut my mouth. Because we are going, society is going to hell in a handbasket. That's why they want to keep you impaired. So when they drop the boom on you, you won't see it coming. Only a select few will. And if you're worried about who's sitting in the Oval Office when you have other things to worry about, how about what's outside your door? Or what should be inside it? Why are you putting so much focus on that? You are the VIP. And nobody can live or cultivate your life but you. But you're too busy worrying about what the liars tell you online and what the new mannequin is wearing. But nobody looks at behind the scenes. They getting paid. You doing it for free. Who am I talking to? We live in an ultra sexual world, and they want to convey, yes, you don't need nobody, girl, just do it yourself. And you're running through the football team because you get an urge. And you're wondering why you're crying at night. And you're wondering why you wish somebody would just put their arms around you and tell you in your ear, baby, I got you. We're going to be all right. We're going this way. But if they don't have a relationship with God, they don't have a relationship with themselves. So if they don't have a relationship with themselves, how do you think they're going to have a relationship with you? How about value you? You don't get that because of what you look like. And let me throw this out there because I know there's going to be some shade, which I don't care. I really don't. It makes me laugh because you're not seeing the big picture. The awareness is for you. If it pisses you off what I'm saying, then guess what? That's something that you got to focus on. I don't have to live your life. But I do want you to be happy. And that's what a friend does. See, a friend, no matter what, they want you to always be on top. They're going to tell you the things that the people in the cheap seats won't. Because see, the people in the cheap seats, all they want to do is exploit you. He said he wouldn't do that. But why do I feel like a bowling ball now? Because he don't love you. And you will never be his wife. And it doesn't matter how much you try to deflect it to save your pride, because you're doing this for your pride. Guess what? At the end of the day, doesn't matter what you say or do, he still says this. I still got you though. You can't undo that. So why self-exploit yourself for one up? There is no forever in trying to one up someone. That one up is nothing but a setup for you to be more impulsive. And how's in being impulsive? You realize there are going to be some people that are going to go in debt because of the holidays. Going to max out their credit cards for somebody they don't even know. And meanwhile, they're going to be like, thank you, sweetie, dummy. But that's how opportunists do. And what do I say? What have I conveyed? An opportunist does not need your help to expose himself. But what is required is for you to have the courage to see it. Doesn't matter how well his stroke is. He'll never be able to protect your heart. And you'll never be a priority. But your girlfriend won't tell you that. Because she's waiting for you to drop the ball so she can do it too. Who am I talking to? Shout out to my prayer warriors, shackle breakers, and those who are committed to their dreams and hopes. Keep moving forward. That is your message. They're going to try to throw the kitchen sink at you. They're going to try to attack your character. They're going to even try to bring you down. As long as you put God first in everything you do, they can't touch you. That's what discernment's for. But I got this feeling. Queen, the day that you decide to destroy your ego and your pride, that will be the day that you claim your life back. Doesn't matter how much you change your hair. That's for somebody. I got a feeling somebody's got a very low self-esteem because they were taught or told all their life that they were less than. And all I'm saying to you is, do you see that person in the mirror? Yeah, that one. That person, she, he is beautiful. See, right now you caught up on the physical. And when you need to be in the spiritual. And when you decide to have the courage to do something different, you'll get that glow back. And you won't feel that blowback that you've been feeling. Because, see, that's not your life. It never was. That's why it hurts. And you can't run from you. You do understand that, right? You can't run from you. Why you think you having them conversations in your head? But if you let them tell it, they ain't going to show you the strings that they've been playing you with. Life, listen, yes, you're going to go through peaks and valleys. Why? Because God has something better for you. But that devil's going to be right there behind you. He's going to be right there. He may send that handsome man right into your life that make you smack your lips like, only to be your next lesson. Only to degrade you. You might be that woman that you say, man, she is the woman of my dreams. She got it going on, but she don't know God. That's like eating from a dirty plate or drinking from a cracked glass. Why would you do that? Because the person that's going to be in your life that will earn the right to walk with you, that has your name embraced, embedded in their spirit, they can't be seen, but they're made new, and you know it. You already know it. You feel it. You feel it. That's your discernment, by the way, trying to let you know. You know, I know some of y'all, it feels like a old cheap neon sign because it, you know, no, that's the real you fighting the person that walks this planet. Keep up the fight. Your harvest will come. The process is cultivating and being able to break off the rough edges. How about them distractions? But I know, I understand, because a lot of y'all are dealing with emotional scars that you have carried for a long time. Long time. And you're saying, when will I wake up from this? When you decide to love yourself more. You can do it. And oh yes, this is for somebody. Do not be caught up with your physicality. What's required is that you live healthy, right? See, when you get this right, you'll be able to be in tune with this. But none of these two can't work together without him. And when you put him first, he'll make you new. It's the process. You know why? He's not going to give you something that you're going to squander. And maybe that's the reason why you're dreaming about them. Love yourself more. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. You can live your life like that soapbox and you realize you're standing still. Be blessed.